So let's start with this. The Kyler Murray stuff. Joy and I have gone back and forth on this. I would sign him. But Larry Fitzgerald told Greg Jennings, who told us an hour ago, Larry said they rolled out the red carpet early. It kind of changed his personality. He can be off-putting to some teammates. That was what Larry told Greg. It's out there. It was on our show. But he is a remarkable talent. You know, is there any question in your mind of signing Kyler Murray?
Such an interesting dynamic because they should sign Kyler Murray, but why does it have to be on March 1st on his timeline? I think that's the big question here. Lamar Jackson won an MVP and was drafted a year before Kyler Murray, and he still hasn't gotten his contract. Patrick Mahomes won a Super Bowl MVP and already won an MVP and got one in July of what is the equivalent of Kyler's year right now. His agent, Eric Burkhart, who I say, hey, you know what? You want to go out there swinging? You want to represent your guy? You want to say, hey, pay him now? You have every right to do that, but the Cardinals are not, the LA Rams. The Cardinals are not the Dallas Cowboys. They're not just flush with cash, spending money willy-nilly. He's 24 years old. It's March 1st, and they sure aren't going to be put in a corner and be told when they've got to sign a long-term deal for Kyler Murray. I think everyone involved, whether it be Cliff Kingsbury or Steve Keim, who has his career staked to the pick of Kyler Murray, or even the owner, Michael Bidwell, they want to, have Kyler Murray as the long-term quarterback, but I don't think they want to be told when they have to sign that deal. And I think the crickets on the other end of the statement made by the agent, Eric Burkhart, yesterday speaks wonders. It's not only from the team who hasn't quivered and said, oh, my God, we got to, okay. Yeah. It's also from the rest of the Cardinals players. We don't see a groundswell of people coming out and saying, yes, pay Kyler right now, this moment, because he wants to be paid. He's going into an offseason, and it's on their schedule in the NFL. It's not necessarily on his schedule. And if he wants to hold out and do all that, that's a whole other issue. But short of demanding a trade or doing a holdout, I don't think the Cardinals are going to completely change their offseason schedule to make sure he is paid right now, immediately, because he says he wants it.
Yeah, it's interesting. So the Trey Lance Garoppolo thing, I got Montana has questions and Steve Young has questions, and then an NFL reporter of note came out and said, we're not sure if he's ready. So there's stuff gets out when somebody wants it out. I am of the belief that Garoppolo winning in Lambeau, going to fetch you a second, third round pick, maybe a player. I'd move off him. I'd give Trey Lance every snap because I don't think he's a refined product yet. I just think he's talented. But you give me an update on the Jimmy G, Trey Lance situation, Schrags.
Yeah, well, look, Trey Lance started 3 games and didn't do anything to wow us in those 3 games. And it might have been, again, not an ideal situation for him having to be forced to play because of Jimmy's injuries. Jimmy Garoppolo set to make $25 million next year. That's a lot of money for a quarterback when you have the first-round pick. I am saying this. I had great plans to sit down with Kyle Shanahan here at the Combine. He texted me yesterday. He's like, I'm not coming to the Combine. So there goes those. So I won't have the firm answer from the coach. But I am speaking with John Lynch tomorrow. I'll talk to him a bunch, and I'll have a better idea then. But I don't think you can keep Jimmy Garoppolo into next season if you want to extend Deebo Samuel, if you want to extend Nick Bosa, if you want to build a team around some of the guys that they have to re-up. Garoppolo's been wonderful for them. I think they would love to do this as cleanly as possible. But I do believe if you're asking me as NFL reporter who is ingrained with anybody, and especially with the Niners guys who I've known for years, I would be very surprised if they entered training camp with Jimmy Garoppolo on the roster still.
Yep. See, you and I agree on that. Let me throw this. I don't think Brady's coming back. He's generally a guy that makes a decision, stays with it, and that's just who he is. I don't think Bruce Arians and Tampa were the perfect fit long term. They were a good enough fit to win a Super Bowl in 2 years. I don't see him coming back, but Jason Light, the GM. I know him a little bit. What's their take on Brady and, the possible return?
Please come back. No, honestly, that's where we're at. I think I say that half kidding. Spoke to Jason this morning and said, we're going to leave the light on. Like it was the old, Motel 8 ads or whatever it was, but we're going to leave the light on, and he's always got a place here. We'll make it work. We'll figure it out. In the meantime, they need to think about their contingency plans. And I get the feeling being here on the Combine for 2 days that this great groundswell of, Russell's going to be traded and Rodgers going to be that's calmed down quite a bit. And I don't think it's going to be this whirlwind of quarterback activity this week. And it might not be even up until free agency. So they've got Kyle Trask on the roster. Blaine Gabbert's a free agent. But they made it very clear to me, and Jason directly told me, if Brady wants to return, there will be a place for Brady. We'll make it work. We'll figure it out. Now, the Buccaneers have a ton of free agents on this roster. Chris Godwin is a free agent. JPP is a free agent. You've got Alex Kappa, the big lineman, Ryan Jensen. We can go through it. They've got a ton of guys they got to figure out. But Brady will always be priority one. So from my vision, I don't see Brady doing this Niners thing I hear a lot about. I don't see it working out that way. I just don't think the Bucs would ever let him out and do that. I think the Bucs are like, he's under contract with us, if anybody, and he retired from us. So I think they're going to, the term that he said is they're going to keep the light on. And let's see. Brady's addicted to football. We know that. And I saw him taking photos yesterday at like a LPGA tour event, and that might get old after a couple months. Maybe it won't. Maybe he's good and maybe he's happy. And I think 99% of the people out there assume he'll be happy in retirement. There's a 1% hope from those Buccaneers guys that Brady might change his mind. And if that's the case, they'll welcome him back with open arms.
By the way, a lot of talk about the New York Giants this offseason because they flushed the coaches out in the front office and blah, blah, blah. You're in New York. The Jets situation's interesting because Belichick's the best coach. McDermott's a great coach, and Josh Allen. Miami's got some turbulence. What's happening in Jets world?
This is roster rebuild year. Now, Joe Douglas, 2 years ago, the draft has not netted out very talented players. They don't have many day one starters. Even Mekhi Becton, who was the 11th pick overall, right now you would say has not worked out. Last year's draft class, they're high on Zach Wilson. They love Elijah Moore. Vera Tucker out of USC, they look at as a future Pro Bowler. They're very high on the draft from last year. So you go into this one, they have a ton of free agent spending money, and they've got 2 picks in the top 10. This is the year for the Jets to build this roster. I know Jets fans are rolling their eyes, and they're saying every year is the year. It hasn't worked out. No, last year was a good building block. This is the year, though, where they get foundational players. And I've spoken to Robert Saleh over the last few weeks. He also has decided not to be at the Combine. And it's not because he doesn't want to be here. It's because he's busy watching free agency tape, and he's building his free agent stuff, and he wants to be ready 100%. While Joe Douglas is here at the draft looking at the draft guys, they know what they've got with their free agent board. I'm very bullish on the future of the Jets. They started clicking late. Zach Wilson, a light came on for him. And I think Saleh and Douglas, this is a big year for them. And I think there's a lot of reason for optimism with cap space, the picks, and a chemistry between those two guys. I think the Jets are going to be in a lot better place in 12 months than they are right now.
All right, Schrags, can you tell us who you have dinner with tonight or lunch or anything, or is that secret?
Let's just say that there might be some Packers attire across from me at the table at my dinner tonight.
Oh boy, I'm going to guess.
That could be the equipment guy. It could be the equipment guy. That could be that's a source. That's a source.
All right. Peter Schrager. Great scene and nice mood lighting. I like that very much. David Lynch film. Yeah, it's very nice.
Love you, Colin. Thank you, dude.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.